Hello, my name is Bianca and this is my Assignment 3 production presentation. As a group, we researched and covered topics under the category embellishments. Blind embossing, hot foil stamping, die cutting, and laser cutting all fall under this umbrella. Hot foil stamping creates a high level of quality to a design which grabs viewers' attention through the reflective elements. There are several types of foiling, including flat foil stamping and vertical foil stamping. This process is commonly seen throughout business cards, invitations, and publication design. Die cutting is a fabrication process which involves specialized machines and machine tools to cut custom shapes and designs using the process of cutting, forming, and shearing. There are many die cutting methods, and these include rotary die cutting, press clamshell cut die cutting, and digital die cutting. This process is used for packaging design, invitations, and more. Laser cutting is a process that embodies a highly accurate laser that melts or vaporizes anything in its path. Laser cutting is very versatile in terms of the materials it can trace into. Some of these materials include acrylic, plastic, paper, and wood. The durable machine allows you to create a finish that is highly detailed and intricate. I will be further discussing the production process blind embossing. Embossing refers to the impression of a design element, decoration, pattern, or lettering that can be completed blind or registered. Blind embossing involves using this method without ink. The outcome of the process is a raised element on the material used. Although the result is often subtle, it often creates interest to a design through the contrasted texture and the sophisticated appearance. Blind embossing is used frequently on business cards, packaging design, publication design, and books. Blind embossing uses the force of a machine to push the paper into the metal die, leaving a raised impression. In addition to paper, it can be used on other materials such as cloth, leather, metal, and wood. There are fundamentally 4 stages of the process. First, the material is loaded between the male and female tools. The 2 tools then close together whilst using pressure and heat. The 2 tools then open to release the embossed material. Common presses of this process include clamshell press, straight stamp press, and roll press. A few considerations whilst pursuing this production process is to pay attention to the fine details of setting up your artwork document. It is not recommended to emboss delicate or thin typefaces. Embossed text often prints smaller than originally designed. With this in mind, we recommend using a bold typeface, ideally with rounded edges. The embossed elements will vary depending on the selection of paper or stock of material. Embossing will leave a debossed appearance on the other side of the material. Keep this in mind and consider duplexing the opposite side if desired. It is important to choose the quality and weight of the paper carefully. A higher GSM of uncoated paper will allow for greater dimension depth, as these quality cover stocks have long fibre construction with high cotton contents. Using a font above 8 point is recommended whilst increasing the tracking to allow for added dimension. Depending on the design, it is important to consider which die you are planning on using. Magnesium dies are the appropriate choice for single-level embossing, whilst brass dies are more suited for multi-level or full relief embossing. When submitting your file to the printer, you will need to make sure the embossed area is 100% of a spot colour, whilst making sure it is on a separate layer in your InDesign or Illustrator program. Embossing is usually more expensive as it requires a metal plate opposed to polymer, which is significantly cheaper. A majority of the costs come from the materials and the setup fee. For example, a one colour-sided single run of 250 business cards can start around $400 plus GST. Once the artwork is approved, the standard turnaround time is 10 to 15 business days depending on the company. As a group, we were briefed to choose an event from the Melbourne Writers Festival and develop a promotional communication through the merchandise application of our choice. After deciding on the Melbourne Writers Festival at the Moet, we focused on designing a cocktail menu for the festival bar. Each of the 4 events included a featured cocktail. The menu design steers away from the traditional rectangular shape, creating a unique interest. The blind embossed element is expressed through the title text. Although minimal and subtle, your eye is drawn towards the raised texture as it showcases a higher level of hierarchy on the menu. By informing the printer specifically of the required embossed elements, I used a bright yellow spot colour to allow for clear communication. The menu requires a die line cut and a 4mm bleed surrounding the design. Thank you.